What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update about the markets. Just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget about my Moomoo link. Anyways, so as far as the market's going, it's very crazy. So what happened was, if you look at Tesla, we're doing a good job at holding above our 370 support. We also got a nice bounce off 363 so far. We got a big pump on Tesla back up to about that 380 area. So I hope you guys, many of you guys may have caught that move. And then what happened was we got this big rejection in the markets. And now Tesla's just trying to see if it could hold this support. So it was very crazy. We got this big rejection. The market's trying to get bought back up, but now we're watching to see if support could hold. As far as Tesla goes, I just want to say that as long as we don't lose 363, we're going to be fine. That's going to be very critical support for us. And when you zoom in and look at our like 5 minutes time frame, this still looks bullish. We have a nice inverse head and shoulders despite this little rejection here. As long as we're trying to base at 363 and like 368-ish, this could continue to slowly uptrend and show a lot of life. So far it's doing a good job. But why did Tesla see this big pump and a big dump before it started holding support? That's because of what SPY is doing right here and also the overall market. So when you look at SPY, we had this rising wedge, and it's very tricky the way this is moving. So there's this rising wedge on SPY. We've been uptrending so far, holding this trend line of support, right? That's why I suspected we would push closer to like the 609, 610 area. But instead, what happened was we hit 608, and then we got this big rejection off that. We ended up dipping back down to like the 603s, and now we're starting to get bought back up again. So it's very tricky. Are we going to hold this wedge? That's what our question is, and start pushing higher for levels like 609 to 610? Or is this the start of a breakdown? Are we about to break down below this falling wedge and start losing 603.5 and then 602? If we lose 602, I will turn bearish. I will be concerned if that ends up happening. But so far, we're in a critical place. We haven't officially broken the wedge, but at the same time, it's showing some weakness here. So it's like in the middle. Are we about to get bought back down, or are we about to see something very different? We're waiting to see if the sellers come back and if they're about to see a break through this wedge to start dumping us. 608 could be it. It could have come a little bit short of my target. I was hoping for like 609 plus. We actually came a little short of that. That could be one possibility. Or it could be possible that this is a fake move and we're about to reclaim support and start continuing to uptrend. It all depends, guys, on if we end up losing these supports or not. So I'm waiting to see if we're about to get a break from this wedge to start dipping. We'll see just to be safe. I want to be very honest about that. So be very patient. Let's see if SPY loses 603.5 and 602. If that's the case, then yes, I think the wedge is going to pan out. We're about to see a bigger move back down. It did pump to 608, coming very close to my target of 609 to 610 in that range. Came super close, just 1 point away. So, actually, it was less than 1 point away. It was like 0.8 points away, but it's okay. It came close. But I did tell you guys about this rising wedge earlier about how we have to be a little careful once we get close to this range. So we'll see if this is going to be a true rejection, if we're about to break out of this wedge or not. I'm going to be very cautious up here, so I want to give you guys a warning about that. Same thing with the QQQ. Okay, so I was talking about how we could be looking for 530, then 533. We hit 532, 1 point away from my target. It came very close. And sometimes this happens, guys. Sometimes it could be very close, but not perfect. It happens. So in this case, we didn't get to 533 and we kind of rejected a bit on the QQQ. This is looking a little weaker than SPY. So I'm going to be watching 525.39 and 523. If we lose that range of support, this could be dumping closer to like 516, 517 all over again. There's going to be a big dump if we lose 523. But the first support is 525. We'll see if that holds or not. And we'll see if we try to reclaim this wedge right here to get back to like 530. So we'll see just to be safe, but there is that risk of this getting a rejection. So I just want to give you guys a heads up about that. On the Russell, we had 230 as resistance and then 227 as our main support. We're kind of stuck in the middle. So we're completely stuck right now. We're waiting to see if we end up losing 227 to turn bearish, or if we break 230 to bounce. So far, it's been very stubborn at that 230 area. It's been struggling to break that, so be careful. There's that risk of some downside. On ES, we had a rising wedge. I mentioned to you all that I was looking for 61.25. We came extremely close. I think we almost touched that. It was close enough. 61.25 is where I was looking at how things are going to be looking. And then we got a rejection from there. I'm going to be looking to see if 60.70 holds. If not, we could be dumping to 60.40, then eventually the low 6,000s. So watch those supports. We have the mark right over here. If we get back above the 6115-ish area, we could attempt to bounce. It's in the middle here, but there's that risk of getting a rejection here off this rising wedge. I just want to give you guys a heads up about that. NQ, we called out 22,000 tough resistance. We touched them. We got a rejection. We have to see if we could try to continue to hold up. We're looking for 21,700 as our support, and then 21,650. If that fails us, we could dip lower, so just be careful. The main support is at 21,550. If that fails us, I'm looking for a bigger dump, so just be careful. Bitcoin got to about 98,000. We got to hold above that. If not, we could be dipping to about 95,000 again. So it's still showing some signs that it might reject. On the other hand, Nvidia is very resilient. As long as it holds above 127 and 124.86, we could still get back up to 130. It's still very resilient. It's doing a good job at holding support. Tesla's also holding up above 370, which is a good sign. As long as we don't lose 363, this could still slowly uptrend. So please keep that in mind. Tesla is looking pretty decent. Aapl is barely holding its support. We have to see if 230 holds. If not, it could be dipping to like 228 and 226. So please be careful with that. For others out there, we have AMD looking a little bearish, could be dipping towards 105 and the low 100s if we don't hold this support right here. It's showing some weakness nonetheless. Coin has tough resistance at 277. We'll see if we could break past that or not. If we can't, we could reject and return back down to 272. Amazon's looking heavy. It bounced very nicely to 235, got a rejection. We have to see if we could get back above the 235-ish area, or else we could be continuing to fall to 226. So please be careful. As long as Meta holds 700, it's going to be fine. This is forming a wick here, so it might decline a little bit. But overall, it's not too bad. It's still very resilient. On Microsoft, we have to be very careful. We're barely holding the 412s. If that doesn't hold us, we could be dipping to like 410, 408 in those lower levels. Maybe there's a possible inverse head and shoulders, or this could just be like wishful thinking. There's no guarantee this will pan out. If this is like a left shoulder, this is our head, and then this is our right shoulder. We'll see. If not, if we can't hold 412, then we could still dip closer to like 408, so just be careful. Same thing with Google. We need to try to reclaim like 190. If not, we could be dipping closer to like 186. That's where this low is right over here. So that being said, the VIX had a falling wedge. It's starting to show some life here. We'll see if we end up closing above this and we start pushing higher, and then that could cause SPY to dip lower, or that could be because of SPY dipping lower. There's a rising wedge here. Came super close to my targets. We'll see if we can reclaim support or not. And then if this does dip more, this could slow Tesla down a little bit. However, even if that's the case, Tesla has not lost 363 yet for me to turn more bearish. We're still holding it. So that's a good sign that Tesla could still bounce and continue to uptrend as time goes on. So that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Please take care, guys, and make sure you watch your levels and be a little careful with this market. It's very tricky. Tesla's still holding support, so it's doing a good job. So we'll see if this remains. I just want to give you guys a warning about this for the whole market. Tesla should try to hold 370. If so, it's going to be in a good place. As long as 360 does not break, Tesla could continue to slowly uptrend as time goes on. All right, that's it for this one. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.